Hello and welcome to Health with Sveta. I'm Dr. Sveta Silverman, and today we're diving into a topic that affects all of us and that is important to all of us, brain health. As we age, many of us worry about memory loss, slower thinking, or different neurological conditions. But the good news is that the brain has an incredible ability to adapt and change. This is called neuroplasticity, and understanding it could be the key to keeping our mind sharp and active well into our later years. Today, I will be walking you through what neuroplasticity is, why it matters for your health, and most importantly, what you can start doing today to support your brain and do it day after day after day. Before we start the questions, I am very, very excited today. I'm a bit nervous because I am walking into somewhat uncharted territory. The story of me as a double-trained medical doctor who got her first degree, let's say, medical degree in the Soviet Union a few years ago, let's say, and got her second degree in Canada at the University of Alberta. I was taught that brain cells don't recover. When we lose brain cells, they're gone and they're dead. So, like every one of us who is listening to the podcast or, these day and age, I am new and I have discovered the term neuroplasticity. Now, this episode, I want to dedicate to my dog, Fiddler, and to the patients that Fiddler allow me to see and to hear the stories. Fiddler is a pet therapy dog, and we work in multiple hospitals in Edmonton as well as nursing homes. So that's where I see the brain health issues. We go to dementia units. We go to Alzheimer's units. And also walking through one of the hospitals and meeting a family of the patient who had a brain trauma injury. Again, it started me on the concept, how can we recover the brain? Can we recover the brain? Can we recover the nerve? So before Ruben's questions, guys, let me explain it to you. How does it work in the brain? How do we actually think? So we have big brain cells that are called nerve cells or are called neurons. But they have different legs or different arms, different attachments. Some of them are called dendrites. So dendrites is something that you actually get a signal into the brain cell. And then there's another outpouching, which is called an axon. This is something that conveys the signal to the other brain cell or to wherever it goes. So this is somewhat like, in a brief and short, that pathway, the pathway of the message. So what happened when we get old? So the messaging, so these arms start to get older and they start to become shorter. So when they start to become shorter, there may be an interval between them. The message doesn't go through. That also may happen during trauma. So let's say the dendrite, the axon doesn't communicate with the dendrite, or the dendrite doesn't communicate with another dendrite. And that communication also called another term, synapse. So when there is no synapsing, so there is no message. Or when there's synapses interfered, like, for example, in Alzheimer's, it can be blocked by the plaque, amyloid plaque. Or let's say like in multiple sclerosis, it can be blocked by sclerosis, by the scar plug. So that doesn't go through. Now, also what happened when we age, well, our cells age. Every cell is aging, so the brain cell is aging, correct? So the neuroplasticity, which is, let me read you the definition of neuroplasticity. It's the brain ability to change, adapt, and recognize itself by forming new connections. So the most important part that I didn't learn in medical schools, as in plural, in few medical schools, that no connections, but we can. So basically, that's my responsibility in anti-aging, is to exercise my brain, to nourish my brain, and to clean my brain, to start building new connections. What does that mean? It means that we can grow new dendrites. We can rejuvenate axons. Okay, and if the cell, this neuron is dead, we can start making anastomoses or pathways. We can go around, we can detour. We can detour from the dead area into the alive area. And guys, we have a lot of brain capability. We have multi-billions of neurons. We have billions of neurons. The funny part is we have billions of unused neurons. That's the whole ability of us working and exercising the brain. So now going on, neuroplasticity for the brain. The brain isn't fixed. It can rewire based on learning new skills, practice like playing an instrument and learning a new language, recovery after injury or stroke, experiences and environment, experiences and environment like stress exercise, mindfulness, and less. Flexing wiring. That's why we're talking neuroplasticity. And then what are we going to talk about, Ruben? We're going to talk about adjusting our lifestyle choices. Okay, Mr. Sarafo.
That was incredible. I love.
You're scratching your brain now.
Yeah, I am, because you're telling me that there's a possibility that the brain, if some functions aren't functioning normally, the brain has the capability to adapt, to form new pathways,
connections,
detours, as you said, to figure out a way to compensate for the things that it lacks and almost reconstruct itself.
Yeah.
Can I say that? Reconstruct?
Yeah, reconstruct, yeah.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Do we know how the brain can physically change over time through experience and learning?
Well, how the brain changes in terms of aging, yeah, we do. We kind of lose that cortex, like basically that brain matter. That becomes thinning. The brain becomes, per se, what are we trying to avoid? Atrophy of the brain. That's the thing. We try to avoid holes in the brain. It's like when you look at the Alzheimer's brain, it has holes. When you do an MRI or something, it has holes in the brain. So I'm not sure that we can, let's say, rebuild the holes. That's not the point. The point is exactly to rebuild new connections and go around the holes and start turning on the light of the unused areas. Because let's say I forgot, I should have looked it up, actually how much actually we're using of the existing brain. We're not using much of the existing brain. That's why there is so much hope that we can turn on the shifts and we can turn the ability of that unused brain and start using it. And now we have to think again and again and again. And I will give you a quote later, which is to me extremely powerful. So the thing is, when we age, what happens is we start losing the ability to clean ourselves. We start losing the ability to clean homes. Cells are our homes. And it applies to every cell, whether it's the skin, the liver, or the heart, or the brain. And that's the whole idea. So there are so many ways that we have a handle on. As you know, in my field, I don't do drugs per se, because I diagnose diseases. So I don't do pharmacology, so I don't touch it because it's out of my comfort zone. But through my anti-aging and regenerative medicine certification and learning, continuous learning all the time, it's in my comfort zone to talk about different lifestyle choices, which applies to cellular health. So are we sitting on, oh, no, I'm old, I'm getting older, that's okay. This is my genes, no, I don't take it. I don't take it, I don't accept it. I don't go by it. I can clean myself. I can age chronologically, being young biologically. And that is what is so important for not only liver health, which is our detoxification factory, for my ticker health, like my heart health. No. This exactly applies to the brain health. I want to age gracefully, pardon my language, with all my marbles intact. And it becomes sharper and sharper to me, and more actual, working with Fiddler and going through dementia and Alzheimer's units. Absolutely, we do have a handle on our own health. The most important thing is our commitment, and the commitment of consistency to our own health. Because someone calls Alzheimer's as diabetes type 3. What does that mean? A lot of sugar. I know, it's tasty. So, and this is my commitment, or everybody's commitment. How do we adjust and sustain our appropriate life choices?
Do we know of some ways that people can do now to kind of keep the brain active?
Absolutely.
Or prepare it?
Absolutely.
So we're not, lack of a better way of putting it, floating through life, and then we reach old age, and then you're like, now I got to kick the gears up.
Absolutely. I think so. So guys, we have two hemispheres, right? We have two brains. We have a left brain and a right brain, and we are handed. So let's say if you're right-handed, your dominant hemisphere is actually contralateral. It's a left hemisphere. If you're left-handed, your dominant is the right hemisphere. So again, we're underutilizing the brain. So one half of the brain is underutilized per se, correct? So that's the idea is, okay, we need to start working both parts of the brain. So if you're right-handed, start using your left hand in whatever you want. I'm sure you're not going to be dominant in your contralateral, but anything. Or you absolutely can start doing a whole bunch of exercise and check your numbers and start basically checking yourself. Do I memorize? Do I remember what I ate for breakfast? Or you do sports. So before you were bouncing the basketball with your right hand, well, start bouncing the ball with the left hand. This kind of thing. Something you carry your grocery bag with your right hand. So start carrying your bag with your left hand. Something like that. Start checking your balance. So let's say stand up, and for example, you stand on your left leg, and I'm doing it right now, and you lift your right leg, bend it at the knee, and count till 15. You're checking your balance. You're also focusing. You find your drishti point, you're concentrating, you're calming your brain. Now, I just did it on my left leg, so please forgive me. I need to make symmetrical. I need to work both part of the brain. So I'm standing on my right leg and counting to 15. I'm sure I'm not counting, but while I'm talking to you, there will be 15. And I am just constantly, guys, staring at Ruben right now because I'm following my drishti and making him very uncomfortable. So these are very, very small steps.
Right.
Because, and, and any motion per se, you're still working your brain.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you can do, music. It's like I sort of kind of, hit myself in the behind because I graduated from the music school in the Soviet Union, used to play piano, and immigrating and being so busy, I forgot how to do that.
Mm.
And music is so important. Singing, whether you can sing or you can't sing, that's beside the point. If you want to annoy your spouse and you can't sing, go do that. Go sing in front of your husband. I'm sure that will make my husband very happy. So, music. Some people do learn languages, this kind of things. Recite poems out loud or something and smile. Let's take a quick break to talk about some tangible steps you can take right now towards true health and happiness. My life's purpose is to empower you to seize control of your life, especially when it comes to wellness. But every person's needs are unique, and there is no one-size-fits-all solution. That's why we're launching a brand new initiative. Now, you can book one-on-one call with me, Dr. Sveta Silverman. Please do. Together, we'll talk about your history, your health history, how you feel, how can you improve on your health, the goals. I'll use that information to help you to plan a custom approach full of recommendation that I learned not only from my medical career, but from my personal journey. Let's unlock the secrets of happier, healthier you. Visit healthwithsveta.com/contact to book your free 30 minutes conversation and call with me. Now back to the episode.
I heard that something that I mean, I didn't practice real hard at it, but something that I heard, I tried to do during COVID because there's nothing else to do, is like the simple act of relearning how to write your alphabet, like just writing with your non-dominant hand is like another way to rewire.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's just like doing those, like start small, essentially.
That's what
you're
I'm saying.
right?
On occasion, I will start writing with my left hand.
Mm-hmm.
I play tennis all my life. So now when I go to the gym, and we live out in the boonies, so I don't have an access to good courts. So I just play with myself, enjoy me as my best partner, haha. In the racquetball court, hitting the wall, and I hit the wall with both hands. So my racket flows from the left hand to the right hand because I'm kind of thinking that I'm exercising my left brain. I mean, my right brain with my left hand. So these kind of things.
Interesting.
So that's one part of it.
I've heard that, and I guess I should have come more prepared when bringing this up, but I've heard that learning other languages also helps
Very
with
much
brain
so.
development.
Very much so.
And keeping it very active.
My neighbor studies Spanish and Italian just to keep her brain sharp.
Yeah.
She's well over 70 and extremely sharp, looking absolutely young. That she's committed. She's not going to Italy. She's not going to Spain, but she is sharpening her brain. Amazing.
I can actually speak into this, but another thing that helps with brain health is getting good sleep.
Incredibly important. Incredibly important to get a good sleep. Now, you want to get a good sleep? A dark room, chilled room. Now it probably won't be a problem anymore. I don't think we'll get into plus 35.
Yeah, not that it's September anymore.
No, yeah, that's it. And guys, forget about your social media devices. Forget
For bed,
your
yeah.
electronic media. The cell phone should not be in your bedroom.
Yeah.
And it is very well done, and it's a very good strategy and health point if you turn off your cell phones. My mentors recommend to turn your cell phones at around 7 p.m. Sorry, I cannot do that. I'm pushing myself. My cell phone is off at 9 p.m. And also, I know it's not convenient, but no TV in the bedroom.
Shoot.
But some people actually they fall asleep with kind of TV and stuff. So whatever. But sleep is so important. Aim to 8 hours of sleep. Aim to 8 hours of sleep. And aim between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. or
Yes.
something like that, because that is going to synchronize with your hormones. It's in that synergy and balance with your cortisol, flight and fight, response. That's our hormone. It's in synergy with your insulin, and both insulin and cortisol, they have to be in synergy in the same line. It cannot be. That's why the shift work, in a sense, is so damaging.
Yes.
It's so damaging because it desynchronizes your brain. So yes, so sleep 8 hours, somewhere again, it's between that diurnal variation of insulin and cortisol. And the quality of sleep is so important. That REM sleep when you dream, that deep sleep when you sink sort of, down and you get. And what is extremely important for the sleep is to go to bed on an empty stomach. You've got to eat at least 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours before you go to sleep, even preferably 4 hours. And we Russians, we used to say, breakfast, you eat your own, lunch, you split with your friend, and supper, give it to your enemy.
Okay.
It was just an expression. It just means that you go to bed on an empty stomach. Why is it so important? Because during that sleep, you allow your cells to rest and clean. You allow yourself to do something that is called autophagy and mitophagy, meaning the cells are hungry. So while they're cleaning their cells, they're so efficient, they're so smart, they're actually going to consume the debris of the cells as food, double cleaning them, and debris of that a broken down mitochondria.
Yeah.
Allowing not only to clean, but also start the rebuilding, regenerate, renew the cells. Because the essence of anti-aging is a rebuild. Everything is on a cycle. We age, the older cells are dying, but we may lose the capability of making new cells. This way, we're making the new cells.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if I can speak into just getting good sleep, a lot of people struggle with a couple things around sleep because people have a view of sleep as though we're like our phones or like a battery where as long as you keep charging or as long as you keep sleeping, even if it's here and there, you're going to get to 100%. But we don't operate like batteries. It's not like if you got a 5 hour sleep, very poor sleep, taking a nap during the day is not going to get you to 100% capacity. Your brain, there's something about the the biological and historical process of going to bed at a decent time and waking up, going to bed with the moon and then rising with the sun, right? It's like in us inherently throughout the thousands to millions to billions of years we've been on this planet or however. So it's in our DNA. It's in so there's a biological historical reason for getting good sleep and all that stuff, and we are not batteries. You cannot
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for saying that now, even before the per se your questions. We're having such a great conversation. Extremely important topic is move. You got to move for the brain.
Yep.
And I'm not implying to the remote control. Finger
Yeah, for the
moving of the
TV.
remote control. I'm not implying on the fingers on the keyboard.
Okay, that's not enough moving.
I'm not implying on the eyes following the computer screen.
Okay, what do you mean by moving?
We move.
Our whole bodies.
The whole body, we move. And whether you're doing high intensity training exercise, which personally I don't like. So, I do exercise. Thanks God I have a dog and I'm obligated to walk him twice a day, cold or shine, rain or snow. I have to walk my dog 30 minutes twice a day at least. And when we walk with Fiddler, I push myself sort of to do some jogging spurts, some running spurts, and to high my heart rate. So that's kind of my excuse for HIIT, high intense training exercises. However, without that, we need to move. Whatever hits your fancy. An amazing brain exercise, and it's a double duty, is dancing. It's like, it's a double whammy.
Yeah.
You're hitting so many things. You are happy. You're dancing either alone with a partner. You're still dancing in a company. You're listening to the music, and you're moving. It is apparently dancing, ballroom dancing is so brain healthy. So any exercise, you gotta move.
If you're someone who can do a lot of high impact walking, of course, is always a good thing.
Awesome question. Awesome question. Because no excuses. No excuses. No excuses. Again, same thing. We work in the hospitals, and some patients almost became friends because we see them on a weekly basis, and some of them are bedridden. There is no excuse. She's in bed, and we talk about it. She does her handwork, like, she's moving her arms. We talk about this. She's moving her legs. So whatever you can move, you gotta move. Or when you're sitting, some elderly, especially frail elderly ladies, there's little pedaling machines. So they move their legs and stuff.
There's a recent science report out of Japan. I don't have it on me, but they discovered that there's been this conversation about getting 10,000 steps a day. Is like, if you can do that, that's like your baseline for healthiness.
You got it.
Out of Japan, they did this new exercise that gives you double the benefits, and it's only 30 minutes a day.
What do you do?
All you got to do is, for 30 minutes, walk, but every 3 minutes, you go from high as fast as you can walk, and then the other 3 minutes, relax your walk. And then you just keep switching every 3 minutes.
There you go. I'll do it with Fiddler. I'll do it with Fiddler.
And so you go fast for 3 minutes, get your heart rate up, walking, and then just like your normal pace of walking. You just switch every 3 minutes. You go from 0 to 30 minutes. You do that for 30 minutes, and the benefits absolutely double of like trying to hit the 10,000 steps in the whole day, which is great to see. They've been seeing a lot of patients, especially like the elderly, just like reap the rewards a lot faster too.
Why do Japanese live longer than us?
I mean, their lifestyles are so much better.
You know what? Absolutely. No, absolutely true in terms of 10,000 steps. So that's kind of my goal that is set up on my Apple Watch, 10,000. So I get notified. So the thing is, what else is so critically important, and we keep forgetting about it, guys, breathing. So that's kind of my new adventure. I'm looking into start practicing Tai Chi. Never did it.
Yes.
Just need to find sort of the class. But the thing is, because that only will allow you that slow motion, which allows you integrating of multiple muscle groups and brain, but it also allows you breathing, We got to breathe, and we don't have to breathe shallow. The problem is we have shallow breathing. We forgot how to breathe deep with our diaphragm because, guys, here's the deal. A brain is only 2% by mass of our body, which consumes 20% of the whole body oxygen. So 2% consumes 20%. That is why that oxygen that we provide to our brain is extremely important. But when you provide that, why do we need oxygen to the brain? Because we can only think when there's one organelle in the cells. I mean, it's all basically the cellular symphony. But what is so important for the brain is the health of the mitochondria. Mitochondria, simplicity, just one point, is our literally energy house. It's our powerhouse. So how do we get energy? The brain cells consumes the most energy of all the cells, period. More than the heart, more than the liver, more than the other vital organs. The brain consumes the most energy. So what happens is, in order to get energy, you need oxygen. And you need oxygen and the proper food to combine it into different biochemical reactions and chain of commands, initially to exert the energy. And that's why aging brain, aging mitochondria, sustainable brain, renewable and rebuilding the mitochondria. So important.
Absolutely. And you've talked about this a few times, but like to connect brain health to cellular health, one of the things you always talk about is NRF2.
And I discovered an extremely powerful quote. NRF2 acts as a powerful molecular guardian that not only defends neurons' brain cells against cellular stress and inflammatory insults, but also actively supports structural and functional neuroplasticity. From that synaptic, the connection development and neurogenesis, or making new brain cells, new neurons, to memory aging resilience and post-injury recovery, NRF2 is emerging as a central player in brain adaptability and repair. That is why NRF2 upregulation and support is critical, and that NRF2 upregulation and support will lead you to something that is called mitochondrial support and mitochondrial biogenesis, which is going to make new mitochondria. And that is going to make our brain functional and thinking. That's why it's so critical.
Our talks always make my brain active.
Medicinal.
So these conversations are very highly stimulating, and I always love sitting down with you.
Thank you, Ruben.
always
And
learning.
the same thing with you, because I think it brings the best out of both of us, and it's just amazing. Thank you for that opportunity. And I love that podcast. Guys, I know I can bring the guest into the podcast, but there are some topics that I really, really want to share with you. And I want it to be real. I want you to feel that I do care and I'm involved into helping people to change their lives to better. Not only there, because living this life and helping myself to do what I'm preaching, I think that's a legacy. That's what we do. So thank you very, very much. And I would love to see you on the next episode again.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining me today on another episode of Health with Sveta. I hope this episode has helped you better understand the power of neuroplasticity and brain health and why it matters so much for healthy aging. Remember, it's never too late to start strengthening your brain. Small daily changes, whether it's moving your body, learning something new, singing with your friend, dancing with your spouse, or simply getting better sleep, can make a big impact. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with your friends and family. You can always find more resources and info about us and the show at www.healthwithsveta.com. As well, you will find a form to a free promo of an amazing brain healthy drink called Axio. Until next time, with love, care, and hugs, and smile.